Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananantva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannoti Bhiseda Sadhanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Atmaswarupa Bandhugana. We are looking at the 52nd verse. Dehadi Panchakoshastha Ya Spurtiranubhuyate Sa Spurtiratma Naivanyat Iti Vedanta Dindimaha. We have seen about Sat, the being. Now we have to understand, we have to study the Chit, the knowingness. Chit is the knowingness. You see, this knowingness is, to begin with, it has no division in it. Spurtihi is the knowingness. Spurtihi means, you just imagine a flash of light, a pulse of light. Just imagine a pulse of light. It just comes up. And as the pulse of light comes up, everything shines in that light. So, and the things that shine in the light are not real. In movie, what is real? It is like movie, you know. A pulse comes, and whatever impressions are there on the film, they appear on the screen. I am not sure you are not going to take all of them as real. So, they just appear. So, suppose you go to a movie, 2.5 hours movie, very captivating Hollywood high-tech movie. And that is a very good experience, 2.5 hours experience. In that entire experience, what is real? You are the only reality. The knower. Knower means not Mr. So-and-so. The knowingness. The knowingness appears as the knower. The knowingness is identified with the physical body, and then it becomes the knower. Otherwise it is not the knower. That ER is ajnana. Wherever you find ER, that is ajnana. Suppose you say enjoyer, that is ajnana. Doer, ajnana. Knower, ajnana. So there is the knowingness. And in that knowingness, everything shines. Like in the projector light, just imagine, projector light is shining. As the projector light is shining, all the scenes, they shine and they appear. And those scenes are not real. The projector light alone is real. Okay? That is the example. And you can make it the example complete also. In your case, the light of awareness, Chit, that is pulsating. I really do not mean the bleep. I do not mean that way. I am just saying it is shining. The spurtihi, the knowingness is shining. As like a projector light is shining. And the film has got all impressions. And movement also is not in the light. Light doesn't move. It is the film that moves. And the movement of the film is attributed to the light. And the impressions that are there on the film, they are attributed to the light. So they shine in the light. And so the impressions of the film. What do you mean by impressions of the film? If the film is pure, there is nothing to shine. So you put some impurities onto the film, right? And those impurities shine. That is like all semiconductor industry is all about impurities only. If you have pure silicon, then you don't have an industry there. It is all about putting impurities. Similarly, here also, all about putting impurities onto that film. So those impurities are fixed there. Now all of them come to light and they appear on the screen. That is the illustration. Apply it to yourself. You have to understand yourself correctly. You should not take yourself to be a human being with a pair of legs and all that. That is all the body, not you. It is like a projector light believes that it is made up by a company and all that. There is a company which makes those things, you know. So let us say some German company has made that light, and therefore the projector now the light believes I am only this much, made by such and such company. That is what the light believes, which is wrong. Light is not made by the company. Only the instrument in which the light appears is made by the company. Light is never born. It is never created. It is not going to die. The instrument will die, but the light is not going to die. You are just the same. But we end up believing, I was born so and so to a set of parents. I am not talking about Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, okay? Don't confuse this with that. So we end up believing that I was born to a set of parents at a particular place, in a particular caste, creed, race, religion. All these things do not belong to that spurti. They do not apply to that light. They apply to the body, mind, in which that light shines. In fact, that light shines everywhere. It shines everywhere. But its shining everywhere is not appreciated well. It's shining in the body mind, it is appreciated well. You can upalabdhi, what we call. We can appreciate, yes, here this is Atma, like that you can appreciate. This is light, like that you can appreciate. Suppose there is no object to shine in that light, then you will not know what is light. You see, you never see light. Light you never see. You only see an object in the light. The dispersed light that you see is the light dispersed by the particles of atmosphere. If the atmosphere particles are absent, the atmospheric gases are absent and no particles are there at all, then there is no object to reflect that light. Then it will all be darkness. You will not see anything. You never see sunlight. You see only daylight, which is the reflected sunlight. And you never see daylight. You see the objects in daylight. And as you see the objects, you infer daylight. And as you experience daylight, you infer sunlight. Sunlight you never see. Similarly, the projector light you never see. You only see images that shine in that projector light. Same thing applies to the Atma. You are the Chit, the awareness. Let us translate it as awareness. Yesterday I was using the word consciousness. Consciousness is reflected awareness. Awareness reflected in the body mind. I prefer to call it consciousness. That is my terminology. After giving a lot of study and consideration and all that, I settled with that terminology. Everybody need not follow the same terminology. Nobody can dictate like that. It's a democratic society, you know. So somebody else may use the word consciousness in a different context. So you have to quickly pick up what is the sense in which the guy is using the words, and accordingly you have to adjust your understanding. So awareness is primordial, and consciousness is that awareness reflected in a given body mind. It is like daylight. What do you mean by daylight? There is no daylight except in the context of earth. There is no daylight. So earth, one half of earth receives the light, and therefore that is called daylight. There is no daylight for the sun. Sun has only light. In fact, sun is light. Daylight is a contextual thing. It is already, upadhi of the earth is already there. Then only you have what is called daylight. So consciousness is like daylight. Awareness is that pure chit. So that distinction I maintain, and I may use them somewhat intermittently also, but generally I try to maintain that distinction. So that chit is a shining in the heart. It is reflecting in the heart. And as it reflects in the heart, then that is the mind, heart means mind, I mean. So the mind has all the impressions. Mind is like the film. Film is the mind. In fact, the word film, F-I-L-M, in Sanskrit there is a word bilma. Pa and bar very close to each other, pabayor abhedaha. So pa and bar, bilma is impurity. So film came from bilma. So take a pure strip of that plastic thing coated with silver salt and all that. This is the old-fashioned thing. So not anymore. So once the digital came, these films coated with silver salts have disappeared, and along with them, Kodak also has disappeared. Something of that kind, very interestingly. Anyway, so therefore, this is the film coated with some impurities. And similarly, the mind is coated with all those impurities. That is the vasanas. And all those vasanas, they start shining. And now you see the world. Now, what is the screen? To see the world, what is the screen? So if world is like the movie scenes. The scenes on the screen is like the world. So Silicon Valley, these are the people, this is my family, all this is the movie going on. Movie appears. There is no reality to all of that. It is as unreal as the scenes on a movie screen. You may wonder what this guy is talking. You may not be willing to accept that. You don't want to accept also probably. But then that is how the truth is. And it will dawn upon us today or after a month or after 10 years or after 10 births. That is the truth. Anyway, so then what is the screen? You need a screen for all these scenes to appear. So it is the screen, in our case, the screen on which all these scenes called put together, all the scenes put together is called life and world. So the screen is space-time. That is the screen. So world is a scene depicted on the canvas of space-time. Einstein says so. So space-time is the canvas on which you see the world. And this world that appears on the screen, it has its origin in the film, and then it has its origin, when you observe more appropriately, it has its origin on the light shining through the film. So that light is the source. That is the source from which this entire world springs up. And as the world, the movie is over. Now what happened to the movie? It has resolved into the light in which it sprang up. From which it sprang up into the same light, the entire movie resolves. This is what happens in our case also. So it is the chit which is shining, And as the chit shines, so the five elements, the five koshas here, body, mind, etc., they come to light, and in their wake, the samskaras of the mind, the vasanas of the mind, they all start appearing as scenes on the framework of space-time. Which see, there is a movement. In the film there is a movement. And here what is the movement? The mind. Mind is the movement. Mind is not something sitting there. The flow of thoughts arising out of those vasanas, that flow of thoughts is the mind. So what all movement you see three things: nama, rupam, karma, trayam. Nama, names; rupam, forms; karma, movement. All the three you see. On the movie screen, you see all the three: names and forms and the movement. That is all that is there on the screen, nothing else. Same thing in our life also. What we have is names and forms and movement, action. Movement you call action. So you assume that you are doing things, and therefore you give it the name action, and you assume yourself to be actor and all that. It is all movement. I am an actor. It is also movement of mind. This is an action, movement of mind. It is all mind. The movement of the mind corresponds to the movement of the film. That's why I will tell you one statement which you may want to hold on to. When the mind is completely still, not sleeping, waking only, alert. You are alert, you are not sleeping. When the mind is completely still, the waking state is no more. The waking state comes into light only when the mind moves. In the absence of the movement of mind, there is no waking state. It is as simple as that. Anyway, that is the chit. And that chit is the spurtihi. It is the pulsation of the light of awareness. That is the chit. And you are that chit. So sa spurtihi atma. Earlier we have said sa satta atma, that being is atma. Now we are saying that shining is atma. The shining is not, you should not confuse, when I say shining, you should not confuse with this shining. This bulb is shining, you know. That is only an illustration. That is the light which is also seen, jada it is. It is also drushya, what you see. It is also drushya. The pot is drushya, and this light in which the pot comes to light is also drushya. Then what is the druk? What is the light in which this light also comes to light? What is that light? That is the inner light. Inner light means don't think some bulb is sitting inside. This is again a problem. We have any number of babas and gurus in India. They say there are bulbs sitting here, is one bulb, and that bulb moves up to here, and it comes to here, and from there it goes to here, this and that. And you can see that bulb. Sometimes it is blue, sometimes it is red. Not that. That is all silly, you know. So what you see is like this only. Drushya. Whatever is seen is drushya, including the light. And once you say it is drushya, it is jada, insentient. And what is insentient, I will explain. And so there is a light, that light of awareness. That is the light of awareness. So what we call knowingness, that is the light. You see, oh, this is pot. How do you know this is pot? How do you say this is pot? I know it. You see, this is pot. Either the pot knows and says, I am pot, which it does not. Right? Or you know and say it is pot. So the potness of the pot can be there only if there is some knowledge somewhere. Either it must be in the pot, or it must be in you, or it must be somewhere in between. Somewhere it must be there. It's obvious. The situation is very obvious. It is not there in the part. It is not there in the space between. It is there in you. Therefore, there is knowledge in you, knowingness in you, and because of which the part gets validated. And that knowingness, that is the light. That is the spurti. This spurti here, Shankara's word spurti. This, you see, in Dakshinamurti Stotram, he refers to this. There he says sphuranam. Yasyaiva sphuranam. Yasya is Atma, of which Atman sphuranam. That is the spurti here. Earlier verse, in the 50th verse, we talked about satta, the being. Now we are talking about chit, the knowingness. Therefore, that I am just explaining what is that knowingness. So that knowingness is the raw material out of which all knowledge is taking place. You see, you see the part situation. What is part? Part is that which is known. Part is that which is known. Can you have a part which is altogether not known by any conscious being at any time? Can you have such a part? Please think about it. This is a challenge to the Silicon Valley. Can you have a part, a manifest part, which exists all by itself without reference to any awareness or any knowingness? Suppose I ask you a question. Is there a manifest part which is not an object of knowing by a conscious being anywhere at any time? No. The answer is not. The answer is no. You cannot have a manifest part which never became or becomes an object of consciousness of any knowing individual at any time. You cannot have a part like that. Okay, then let us say there is no part at all. The absence of the part. Now, I tell you, I ask you, can you have the absence of a part without a manifest absence of a part without reference to the knowingness of a conscious being somewhere, sometime? Can you have the absence of part? No. Now this is a very serious conclusion. So now you can never say whether the part is. You can never say the part is not without reference to a conscious being. Right? You can never say the part is without reference to a conscious being. You can never say a part is not without reference to a conscious being. So, without reference to a conscious being, the existence of a part is, you cannot talk anything about it. And then let us say the part doesn't exist. You cannot talk anything about the non-existence of the part also. That's why the rishis were very honest. They said the Jagat on its own is anirvachaniya. You cannot say yes to it, you cannot say no to it. On its own, a manifest universe, independent of a conscious being, independent of the observation of a conscious being, is it cannot be categorized as yes, it cannot be categorized as no. It cannot be. And it cannot be categorized as yes, no also. Suppose you have a category yes, no, sat, asat. What kind of category it is? You cannot say anything about it. That's why the manifest universe on its own is anirvachaniyam. That is one kind of anirvachaniya. There are a few other anirvachaniyas. Anyway, just that I have mentioned. That is not really the topic here. Something closely related I have mentioned because you are all very senior students of Vedanta, and you can exercise your thinking a bit in that direction. Therefore, I mentioned it. Anyway, coming back to the point, this manifest universe, it appears, it is an appearance. It is something which shines in that chit. Okay, fine, that is fine. Now the question is, we talked about Atma as the being, and now we are saying Atma is the light, the chit, the light of awareness. Yeah, this is what I was trying to say. Suppose you say, this is part. You see, there is no this is part. You may say like that. There is no this is part. There is only I know part. Right? That is what I am saying. Without reference to I know, can there be an independent, all by itself, this is part? There is no such thing. Therefore, you may say this is part in a casual way, but that only means I know this part. Now, what is this part? Known. Therefore, the moment you say part, that can only be known. Can you have a part which is altogether not known? Not possible. That is what we have decided. Anyway, so part is known. Then who is the knower? I am the knower. So how do I become a knower of the part? Because I gained the knowledge of the part. And what is the part? Is an object of the knowledge. And what is the knowledge? So the subject-object division, that is the knowledge. The knower knows, or knower acquires the knowledge of the part, the known. Now, the knower, the known, the knowledge, and then the means of knowledge, pramana, pramata, prameya, pramana, all of this is this entire gamut, this entire structure, what we call triputi, a trilogy. This entire trilogy, is it possible without that raw material called knowingness? Can you have this? No. When you say part which is known, there must be knowingness. Then only there can be a part that is known. In fact, it is the knowingness that appears as the part which is known. In fact, it is the knowingness that appears as the knower. And it is the knowingness that appears as the means of knowing. It is the knowingness, Appa. Without knowingness, you cannot have any of these things. That knowingness, out of which a knower is manufactured, along with a known. You cannot manufacture knower and alone. Now I am tired, I am keeping quiet. You cannot do that. As you are manufacturing the knower, the known is also simultaneously manufactured. All the three are none. All the three are none. So, it is the knowingness which appears as all the three in one go, or none. It remains what it is. It remains as itself. That is the knowingness. That is the raw material out of which you create this division of the knower, known, knowledge. That is the raw material. That is the chit. That is the knowingness. That is the spurti. Now you know what it is. Chit. Now we have seen Atma is the chit here. Earlier we have seen Atma is the Sat. Now what is Atma? Is it Sat or is it Chit? Or is it Sat and Chit? Or is it Chit and Sat? What is that? This is what we call ontology and epistemology. That is the subject. Now this is philosophy, real philosophy. So, you see, there is a school of thought. In India we have all schools of thought because everybody is free to think. You need not take permission from a Pethadhipati to think. Some people believe that they have to take permission from the head of the matha. So there is a head and you have to take permission. Thank God. Some people follow that still. Thank God there are always people who don't seek permission for thinking. So that is India. India is argumentative Indian. Did you hear that book? Written by Amartya Sen, the Nobel laureate. It's a good book. He is a great scholar. You may not like him for whatever reason, but he is a great scholar. He quotes the Sadvidya of the Chandogya Upanishad and all that. He quotes with authority. He studied all those things. He is a great scholar. Anyway, he may have some of the ideas, social ideas, which we may not support, but still he is a scholar. Anyway, this is in India, if there are two things like Sat and Chit, how many possibilities will be there? How many theories could be there? 2 square. That is, suppose there are 3 things, you will have 2 cube. If there are 4 things, you will have 2 power 4. That is the way it operates. Therefore, there are 2 things. Therefore, it is possible to have 4 philosophies, 4 schools of thought. And in India, we have all the 4. Because they are free to think. Nobody said only one of this is right, so all of you keep quiet. They don't do that. They go on thinking, and they are free to think. That is the beauty. So, okay, our philosophy may not agree with some of the other philosophies, but people are free to think. Anyway, there is one philosophy which says, Sat alone is real. What about Chit? Chit is not real. Why you experience Chit? Chit is there in our life. It is there. It is an epiphenomenon of Sat. It comes from Sat and it goes back into Sat. Therefore, Chit is not valid anymore. You need not count it anymore. There is only Sat. That alone is real. This is what is called materialism. That is the philosophy. And a lot more is added to that by Marx, bringing out what is called a dialectical materialism. It's a philosophy, Marx philosophy. So, they are Sadvadinaha. They refuse Chit. Sat alone is real. Then there is another philosophy. They say Chit alone is real. Sat is unreal. Sat is an appearance. Appearance in what? In Chit. And so Chit alone is real, no Sat. And so they are called Vijnanavadis, the Buddhas. One school of Dalai Lama is a Vijnanavadi. And so that is the Vijnana. Vijnana is a Chit. That is the name given to Chit by them. They don't say Chit. They do use the word Chit. Chaitya, the Buddhist Chaitya is there, you know. Chaitya, Chitta, Chaitya. Chaitya is an object of the Chitta, a thought. Chitta came from Chitta. Vyakarana people know there is a suffix called Kta. Kta. The Ka will go away, putting it at the end. That is the purpose of Ka, to put it at the end. Don't put it at the beginning. Put it at the end. Therefore, that is the marker Ka. It goes away. Ta remains. So, Chit plus Ta. Chitta, Chaitya. Therefore, so they use the word Vijnana. They are called Vijnanavadis. Chit alone is real. Then there is another school of thought. This is the worldly people's thought. Sat is real, Chit is real. Everything is real. Cinema is real, I am real, theater is real, money is real, boredom is real. Everything is real. These are the worldly people. And then the worldliness is made into a philosophy. It is called Dvaita philosophy. There cannot be anything more sillier than that. It is not a philosophy. You go to the movie, so all that you see there are real, and they are there in Hollywood. They are very rich people, and that is how you have to make money, and then you can enjoy pleasures, and occasionally you can go to the movie and enjoy for 2 hours. Is there any philosophy in it? If everything is real, what is philosophy in it? A rickshaw puller knows that. You don't need a philosophy for that. Anyway, so both are real. Sat is real, Chit is real. So this world is Sat, you are Chit. There is Vaikuntha, which is Sat, and Vishnu is a Chit. And that Chit is different from you, the Chit, and that Sat is different from this Sat. This is Dvaita. Any number of Dvaita philosophies, they all come under the same category. Then comes the final, Advaita. It says, Sat is Chit. What is Advaita? There is no duality. Where? There is no duality means where? Yeah, the duality of Sat and Chit is wrong. What is Sat is Chit. What is Chit is Sat. That is Advaita. So, what is the proof that Advaita is true? What is the proof? You see, you must realize first of all that you are the proof of everything, including yourself. Suppose I ask you, are you? You say, yes, I am. What is the proof? What is the proof? There is no need for any proof. I am the proof of myself. You are not only the proof of yourself, you are the proof of everything else. None can prove your existence. And there is no need to prove your existence, because your existence is already confirmed by you. You are there means your existence is already confirmed. Your being you do not owe to anything else. Anything else becomes relevant only after your being is established. Suppose I ask you, are you? And you say, I am not. Then that only proves that you are. And then suppose you say, I am not sure. Are you? I am not sure. I am doubtful. That only proves that you are. Suppose you say, I am. You need not say. It is so, I amness, it doesn't require any proof. It is already an established reality. It doesn't require any further establishment. And you examine that I amness. What is the I amness? You examine it. Stay with it. Stay with I amness. You may do it in two ways. One, you ask the question, who am I? That is one way of staying with I amness. You see, that question is very powerful question. It is like a seed which is thrown into the soil. When the soil is not fallow, the seed is ready to sprout. Now, the energy that the seed has is almost infinite. If there is a concrete on the top, the seed will break the concrete apart and sprout. Concrete cannot stop. It will break the concrete, that seed. Small seed. That is its energy. In fact, what they have done, they took a seed and they put it in the soil and add some water. Now it is sprouting. As it takes a few hours to sprout, like 72 hours or 100 hours it takes to sprout. And now you put a sonograph to record the noise that it makes. It is moving, you know. It is moving, constantly moving. And therefore it will make some sound. Any movement will make a sound. And you need to have a good sonograph to record that sound. And so you record it for 100 hours, all that sound. And now you condense it and play. It will sound like an atom bomb is exploded. That is the amount of sound that it makes. No surprise, it can break the concrete apart. That is the power of the seed. This question is like that. Who am I? It has that power. It will make you enlightened. If you stay with it, it will make you enlightened. It will tell you what all you are not. It will dispel all your doubts and all vacillation, everything it will dispel. And it will give you all the insight about world, about God and about yourself that you need. That is the question. Only thing is, you should not answer that question. You should not take that spirit and start munching it. You have to leave it alone. Allow it to germinate. Similarly, don't answer. If you answer that question, what answer you will give? I am an IBM employee in Silicon Valley, you have to say that. That is not the answer, Or I have to say I am a Swami from India. Another silly answer. So don't answer the question. It is not meant for answering. Because suppose you answer the question, where from the answer will come? It comes from the mind. And therefore it cannot be the truth. So that is one way of examining the I amness. There is another way, that is not the only way. There is another way, that is I am. Not the sentence I am, capital I, English, am, full stop. Not that way. So somebody asked, you must have asked this question yourself. You must have heard this question. You dream. Okay. What language you employ in dream? Is it English or Hindi or Telugu? You see, dream is not unknown to you. Dream experience is with you. Till somebody put this question, it never occurred to you that there is a language associated with the dream, right? Till, for example, it never occurred to me. Arey, what an intelligent, very, whether it is an intelligent question or not, certainly it is the most unexpected question for me. I never expected that question. And then this is followed by another question. In our childhood, we used to see movies. They are all black and white. Black and white movies. When somebody fires a bullet, the person starts bleeding and the blood is black. This is black and white movie, right? Now suddenly Geva color movies came. It is called Geva color. And then came Eastman color, Eastman Kodak, Eastman color. And now it is not Eastman anymore, it must be something more sophisticated. So now when you see dream, is it black and white or is it Eastman color? This is the question. It never occurred to me. Arey, my God. It never occurred to me. Now, my dream experience, is it not real? Just because I did not notice the language and the color, the dream experience is missing in something? No. I tell you, the dream experience is something which goes beyond the language. Language is not relevant there. It is an experience which is not linguistic. Therefore, this I am, that I amness, you should not make it linguistic. I am is not, you should not stay with the sentence I am. You should not get hooked to the words I and am and the grammar and all that. Sometimes in meditation, I used to say, I is. Why am? You put is. It is the being. You need not say my being. I is. The idea is non-verbal I am. Non-verbal, not verbal. So, you see, if it is the thought I am, suppose it is the thought I am, then it is verbal. I mean, it is linguistic, because the thought has language in it. Language is the tool of the mind, created by the mind for its own use. Therefore, I am not talking about the verbal I am. I am not talking about the thought I am. I am talking about the feeling of I am. The feeling of I am. Don't be with head, be with heart. The I amness, the feeling of I am, which is not linguistic, which is not verbal, it is that I amness I am. What is that I am? You examine. If you examine it, you will discover yourself. Everybody has this experience. You need not import it or you need not get it from books. Books will tell you what it is and it will throw some light upon something which you already are. That is the Atma Vidya. So, when you examine that experience, I amness, that feeling, I amness, that I amness, it is not linguistic. It is existential. And what kind of existence it is? It is a self-shining existential. It is shining by itself. So, that I amness, which is so original of you, which is the origin of your personality, which is you really, now, does it require eyesight to shine? Do you need eyesight to validate I am? Like you validate pot, you need eyesight or sense of touch. So this I am, is it an object of pratyaksha, perception? No. It is not an object of perception. In fact, perception originates from I am. It is the source of perception. And then this I am, is it an object of your thought? Is it an object of your cognition? Do you need thought to know that? Thought is the pramana. Thought is the pramana. It is the thought which helps you to know pot. Thought is the pramana. Vritti, ghatakara vritti is the pramana by which the knowledge of the ghata takes place. Therefore, you don't need the conception or thought to validate the I amness. In fact, conception or thought it originates from the I amness. It is the source. I amness is the source of thought itself. And that I amness, what is it? Is it Sat or Chit? It is Sat which is Chit. It is Chit which is Sat. Then what is the difference between Sat and Chit? There is no division in I amness. I amness is Sat. I amness is Chit. It is the shining and it is the being. There is no difference between Sat and Chit. The difference became relevant for discussion only because the difference of Sat and Chit is purely verbal. The difference is only verbal. How verbal? Because you said Sat, you said Chit. Therefore, two different words are used. Therefore, is it one or is it two different things? That kind of a difference became a topic of discussion. It is purely verbal. The difference is purely verbal. There is no difference in it in itself. It is the one thing. You can call it Sat, you can call it Chit. That's why the difference is verbal. So Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. Therefore, here the difference became relevant because of the verbal situation, and therefore you have to say the difference is not real. It is correct. It is not correct. You have to negate it. That's why we call it Advaita. We don't call it Eka. We don't call it monism in Sanskrit. We call it non-dualism. So duality is brought about by the verbiage or by the language. Language brings duality, and therefore it is now your responsibility or your burden to negate that duality. Therefore it is called Advaita. Therefore that Chit is no different from Sat. Sat shines as Chit. Chit has its being in Sat. And that's why I used to say all the time in meditation, I am the being. I am. I am is the being. I am the being, shining as knowing. in which there is no doing. Atma is akarta, very simple. You need not struggle much about it. If you examine your own I amness, you will know that in I amness there is no doing. Then this doing came from where? It is in the mind. Doing is movement. Movement is in the mind, sense organs, organs of action, body and the world. This is the Prakriti in which there is movement. And at the source is the Satchit, which is motionless, which is called Kotastha Atma. It doesn't move. It doesn't have any motion in it. It is changeless. Motionless, same as changeless. That is what Atma is, Satchid Atma. And what is the sadhana? Sadhana means the striving to know the truth. The sadhana, it consists of in reminding oneself of one's pure beingness. That is sadhana. So, you worship that beingness. That is the God. That is the real God. You worship that beingness. How are you going to worship? Just abide in it. This is called Atmanishtha. Abide in that beingness. You see, what we do, we abide in the mind. That is our home, unfortunately. You dwell, you are with the mind, in the mind, by totally identifying with the mind. Therefore, what happens? You are lost in the flow of thoughts. Suppose thought goes on to economy. Now you are the economy. Thought goes to some war. Now you are the war. Thought goes to India. Now you are the India. Thought goes to some issue in India. Now you are the issue that is there in India. Thought goes to brother-in-law. Then now you are the brother-in-law. Thought goes to the sofa, my sofa. So you are the sofa now. That is how, so as we piggyback the thought, we become what all the thought becomes. And then we want to become some more. So that is not wisdom. So you need it. You need thought. Suppose to walk to home from here after the class is over, another 20 minutes class will be over. Then I have to go to my room and have some breakfast, etc. I need thought for all that. Being doesn't help. Being which is shining as knowing has no relevance there. It doesn't help. It is not its domain at all. Therefore you need thought. So use thought. But suppose I sit in my room and go to India thought-wise, and then go on thinking about things that are there in India, which are there, which are not there, whatever. I came from India, just now. That means I am not using thought. Thought is using me. I am not, you see, dog is not wagging the tail anymore. It is the tail which is wagging the dog. Really. So you use thought. I am not rejecting thought. You need thought. To talk, I need thought. To take breakfast, to go to home, to talk with members of the family, to do your job, you need thought. Use it as much as you have to use it, use it. Suppose now there is nothing more to use thought. Then abide, sadhana consists in abidance in one's own being. Give some rest to thought. Thought gets rest. The thought mechanism, it gets rested well. Not only when you sleep, but also when you abide in that being. That is the sadhana. And this sadhana, you have to remind yourself all the time, enough of thought. Let me not be carried away or pulled in multiple directions by the thought. Enough of thought. Now, I am not thought. I am not in the content of the thought. I am not thought. I am the pure being. I remind myself. I go to my room and I remind myself I am the pure being. And so I sit like this. Just be. Just be, that's all. Nothing else. You need not do anything. There is no doing in it. Just be. Don't be this or that. Suppose I sit, oh, my brother-in-law is there. Now I am the brother-in-law. I am the brother-in-law. Or I am the brother. I am the wife. I am the husband. Don't be this or that. Already you are into the grip of the thought. Just be. That is the sadhana. So, under this being shining as the knowing, you appreciate its glory. You see, what is mind? It is all movement. Sense organs, all movement. Organs of action, all movement. Body, all movement. Body is not a thing. You should appreciate body is not a thing. Body is a movement. It's a wave. Like wave it is. It's a movement. It is constantly moving. What is the blood? Blood is not thing sitting there. It is moving. Everything is moving. Body is a wave. It's a movement. World is a movement. You go to a movie. Can you have the movie world? There is a movie world. Can you have the movie world if that reel, for some reason, is just stuck? It is not running anymore. It is stuck. Then what you will have? You will not have any movie world. The tennis player, he lifts the bat and stays there. No ball is not hit. He stays like this. That you don't call movie. Or something is stuck by like that. So, body is a movement. And world is movement. There is no world which is not moving. It is a movement. World is movement. That's why you should not hold on to something of the world. You hold on to. You are making a mistake because it is moving. Suppose you hold on to yavvanam, youth. You hold on to youth. Can you hold on to youth? You cannot. It is moving. Middle age. Can you hold on to middle age? You cannot. It is moving. No, we want to hold on to youth. We want to hold on to middle age. We will do research and find out what chemicals will help us to hold on to youth and old age. This is lunacy, I tell you. Lunacy. Lunatic attitude it is. You cannot. You cannot hold on to youth. You cannot hold on to middle age. You cannot hold on to old age also. You cannot hold on to birth. You cannot hold on to death. You cannot hold on to any of those things. It just moves. Sukha. The birth, death are not the issues. Nobody wants to hold on to them. But people want to hold on to sukha. Economy. You want to, suppose some stock is rising. You want to hold on to that. Rising. Yeah, good. Rise. 70 now. So next day morning, 70, should be 70. You look at it, it is still 70. 70.5, wonderful. So hold on to, next day morning, 69. Oh my God. Something happened which should not happen. Means what? People, in their ignorance, they want to hold on to. They want to hold on to a thing, sukha. I want to hold on to that. You should not. Because it is moving. Dukkha also the same thing. Oh, I want to cry some more. You don't want to hold on to dukkha. You cannot. You should not. You cannot. It moves on. You just imagine that you are holding on to dukkha. These are all more imagination than real. Nobody can hold on to dukkha. After some dukkha, you will say, please get a cup of coffee. So you cannot hold on to dukkha. You need a cup of coffee. And if the other people around are insensible, then you have to tell, go and get a cup of coffee. If they are sensible, they will bring without your asking. So that you take it. You cannot hold on to anything. It is moving. So, now you do inquiry, Atma Vichara, what is permanent in the transient? What is the immobile in the mobile? What is that? What is permanent in the transient? Mind, organs of action, sense organs, body and the world are transient. What is the permanent in this transient? It is all package. You cannot have mind and body without the world. You cannot have a body which is not part of the world. You cannot have. You cannot have a world in which you are not the body. It is a package. Thought, body and the world. All the three are none. And all of it is a movement. You make divisions in and out. Thought is in. Body is the boundary. And world is out. That is your mistake to make those divisions. It is like saying car is in and car is out with reference to a compound wall. Car is neither in nor out. It is where it is. So, it is all one package. Thought, body, world. Now you want to put thought in and a world out, body the boundary. That is your choice. But they are all package. So, it is the moving. It is the transient. You have to inquire, what is the permanent in the transient, time-wise? What is the immobile in the mobile? And finally, what is real in the unreal? That is the inquiry. And that inquiry gives answer right away. The being shining as the knowing, in which there is no doing. That is the real in the unreal. That is the permanent in the transient. That is the immobile in the mobile. That is the changeless in the changeful. That is the Atma. We will do a small meditation. Keep the body straight, the back straight. You may even notice the effect of sitting right way on the mind. It helps you to take the mind into your command. If you sit in this posture, you can prevent getting lost in the flow of thoughts. The mind which is quiet is the sattvic mind. Then the meditation should not be grim. The mind need not be grim. So sport a smile on the lips. Meditation is a joyous thing, joyous situation. It is not an imposed exercise or burden. As the eyes are lightly closed, they are kept lightly closed, that helps to reduce the mobility of the mind. Mind gets focused. Check that the hands are not gripping. They are kept loosely in the lap. The back is upright, but the shoulders are relaxed. Look at the body. The body shines. And the light in which the body shines is myself. I am the light, Chit, in which this body comes to light. This body I am the light in which this body appears. You watch the sense of touch that pervades the entire body. It is the light of awareness which becomes the sense of touch. And illuminates the body. Look at the mind. Generally, when you look for the mind, you don't find it. That is an important observation. Mind is nothing but a thought or two, the flow of thoughts. Look at any thoughts that are around. When you are looking at the thoughts, you don't find them. Conversely, when there are thoughts you are not looking at, means you are not there. It's an observation, a useful observation. I am the light in which the thoughts shine. I am. Abide in the heart. Not the head. As I am. The feeling I am. Don't ask how, just do it. I am. Occasionally, I remind myself so that I don't get distracted. As I am. Whenever the mind tries to distract you, just be alert and say to yourself, I am. And just abide in the sense of one's own being. It all amounts to saying, just be. Don't be this or that, just be. Suppose you get bored. That is the mind. The being doesn't get bored. It is the mind which gets bored. Notice it. Smile at the mind and go back to the pure being. Initially, it is likely that you get bored with the peace of the being. Being is all peace. So only advice that can be given is, don't get bored with the peace of the being. Overcome that boredom and just abide in the peace of pure being. The being shining as the knowing. In which there is no doing. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Relax. Sit at ease. Keep the eyes closed for a while. And slowly open the eyes. Oh.